Today's podcast is brought to you by Zipcar.com. Earn $25 of free driving credit at www.joinzipcar.com/SIBSB.
Until I met my new best friend, all of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voicemail 'cause
Alex, are we rolling? We're rolling. Welcome to another episode of Sorry I've Been So Busy. This is a podcast where we talk to very busy people about what they've been busy with. Sometimes we talk to not very busy people about what they pretend to be busy with.
Fake news.
I don't know where our today's guest falls in, so I'm excited to find out. He's a member of the Showbiz Studios family,
This is,
by the way.
I think, our first time interviewing a family member.
Yes. So, by the way, well, first of all, this is Andrew Goldstein.
At Andrew Gold on Twitter, ANGEGOLD.
Much faster that time. Well done. I'm Matt Goldich, at Matt Goldich on Twitter, MattGoldich. All the great Showbiz Studios podcast information can be found on the iTunes page, the YouTube page, the Twitter, showbizstudios.com. And please,
at Showbiz Studios on Twitter.
Right. And then also find us at Busy Podcast on Twitter and on Facebook, the Sorry I've Been So Busy
At Busy
page.
Podcast.
That's right. And please keep reviewing and rating.
5-star ratings really help. Reviews really help. And it'll get you in the running to be Busybody of the Week.
Yes. And by the way, we should mention...
What more prestigious honor?
Yeah, there is no more prestigious honor than Busybody of the Week. We do have a Busybody of the Week this week.
Who is it, Matt?
He's a comedian. And it's somebody that we've mentioned on the show, and so he...
I know who we're shouting
Our Busybody
out.
of the Week this week is Zach Broussard.
Zach Broussard. Very funny, man. I just worked with him briefly.
Yeah, who heard himself mentioned on the Adam Newman
Adam
episode,
Newman shouted him out.
And then shouted out us on Twitter, that feeling when you hear Adam Newman make fun of your voice. And then what would you call this GIF? What is this?
Oh, it's a Pepsi commercial.
It's a little...
No, it's Curly Sue.
Yeah, Curly Sue, and she's angry and she's smashing a can. So he was very upset that Adam Newman made fun of his voice.
Yes, and then he said, "I'll kill you" to Adam also, which is in character or in. So Zach is our.
Does that mean Adam's off the top 2,000 comedians list?
Right? Yes, he's no longer.
He is the author of the top 100 comedians list.
Not on the billboards anymore. But I do like it is because sometimes this is a comedian thing, obviously, where he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited to hear that," or like, "That's awesome." The way he wrote his comment was clear. He actually listened to it. He actually downloaded it and then listened to it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like, "Oh, I'm pretending."
Well, they're like softball and basketball teammates in L.A.
Zach wears number 69.
Number 69. That's what I wrote back.
Yeah. So thank you to Zach Broussard.
I get my voice made fun of all the time. I just have to take
You have a good radio voice.
I have a good radio voice?
Yeah.
But I get when I get excited, that's what other comics will just go, like Joe List will go, his impression of me is to say my name in my voice. So he'll go, Sean? Like that. And that's it. That's my
clue.
voice. Yep.
Yeah.
We have a sign.
It's fine.
But you have a good comedian voice, too.
I do?
Raspy, but it's clear and concise, I think.
Oh, thank you so much.
I have that thing where people, when they imitate me, they say my own name, which is not something that I would ever say. Yeah. Matt Goldich. So before we get to our guest, Andrew, what have you been busy with?
Here's the thing, Matt. I'm pretty domestic. I'm not the most there's the cliche of the husband doesn't take an interest in the cleaning and the cooking and all that and doesn't know where all the stuff is in the house.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I'm not good at cleaning. I'm very good at straightening up.
Yeah.
If my wife cooks, I will do the dishes.
Sure.
I can do some cooking. I do some sous chefing with my wife. Yeah. All these things. I'm not afraid to get involved in all of these things.
I like how you call it sous chefing. Really just to class it up.
Yeah. Sous chefing, yeah. But the other night...
she pours the cereal and you pour the milk.
Exactly.
Right.
We're a good team. The other night she cooked a wonderful dinner, and as is my... I was cleaning up, took the dishes into the sink, and I loaded the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And I actually asked, I said, where are the little things? The little pods?
Yeah.
Now we live in a world, it's the vacuum-sealed little pods of detergent and everything. They actually look really cool. Anyway...
It's like the Tide Pods, like those Tide ones.
Yeah,
amazing. Just drop them in.
Kids like to eat those, by the way.
I know they look delicious.
Yeah.
They look
That's a big problem.
They look like taffy.
Parenting community, yes.
So I say, where are those things? And our kitchen, very slender New York kitchen, and there are low cabinets across from all the stoves and the stove and the microwave and everything. So she goes right behind you. So I just open it, and the first bag I see, I grab one and I put it in the little compartment in the dishwasher, close the door, hit the button, and it starts. And I go onto the couch in the living room, and we're watching TV. Let's say 20 minutes later, she gets up to go get a snack. She walks in the kitchen. She says, "Oh my God, our dishwasher must be broken because there are like suds and bubbles and water everywhere."
Yeah.
So I come in, towels, wipe it up, put the towels underneath the bottom of the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And we're like, I was like, why would it just break now?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way it's broken. Something must have happened. And whatever, we move on. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, what could I have done wrong? So then I retrace my steps and I open the cabinet back up and I realize what I put in the dishwasher was a washing machine piece. So we clothes washed our plates and utensils.
Wow.
And it created this whole like bubble storm.
First of all, you would not think that the difference in the soap and the items would be that drastic.
I'm glad you bring that up because after the whole thing, Jamie, she's mad at me and everything, and she's like, "We got to rewash all the dishes." And I go, "Why? It's soap is soap.
Yeah.
Soap is soap. I agree.
We don't have to rewash anything."
I would rewash them.
Yeah.
But
you don't think it would be as stringent?
you're
as
Matt
strong of a
Goldich.
soap?
I'm not sure why, but there's just something about it, just having it done right.
She's like, "You can't eat off of that soap."
But in your defense, that soap should not be kept in the kitchen.
I thought the same thing when you were saying that. I thought the same thing.
I didn't bring that up, but that's a good feather in my defense.
I don't know who made that decision, but that soap needs to be kept in the laundry area.
Yeah, well, we don't have a laundry area, but
there needs to be like
it should be kept in our
shelf this high with
in our
stain
towel
stick and
in our towel closet right by the bathroom.
It should be nowhere near.
You know what?
That's a great point.
As I agree with you, I realize our laundry stuff is below our sink, but it's in a bag and it's regular detergent. Like we use Gain.
You don't use the pods.
We don't use the pods. So I literally never mix those up. But I thought about that shouldn't be there either.
Yeah.
Even the Gain shouldn't be beneath the sink.
Well, So I wanted to ask you guys real quick, and then we'll introduce our guest. What is your biggest domestic failure, or one that you've had recently? Have you failed domestically?
I fail domestically all the time.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I don't mean fucking relationship wise and
sexual
wise. I'm just
it's funny when you were saying
hang a painting.
When you were saying what your cleaning regimen was, I'm in the same boat. I think the biggest overhead failure with my domesticness is what I think is clean. Like you said, I'm good at tidying up. I'm not really great at cleaning because I think you're in the same boat as me, where it's like I'll clean and I think I clean, and I'm like, this is good. This is good.
Yeah,
and my wife gets back, and then I'll see her cleaning. I'm like, I cleaned. And they're like, no, you didn't.
It's not even close.
So I think that's my biggest domestic failure is the level of cleaning. Yeah. My wife just steps it up another notch.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jamie's she's dusting and vacuuming. I'm never going to do any of that. I just straighten the pillows, put my stuff away, and I
will say
I will dust.
I will dust. I'm anal about everything, but there are some things. For the most part, I'm the one who's the more anal one. My biggest domestic failure is sort of getting annoyed about it not being. But there are certain things that I just cannot make a bed as nicely as my wife can, and so I don't think man. So there was a time because we're in the process of renting out our apartment where somebody was coming to take pictures, and I was I can definitely clear out a pile of paper and make a counter nice, but a bed. Somebody was coming to take pictures of the apartment. I was the one who had to make the bed the photos. And it was a lot of pressure. It was something that my wife could have done and done, and it took me 30 minutes of do it a little this way, and then no, that doesn't look right.
There's
a
crease.
This way.
I feel like they always know where the pillow.
What's the pillow order?
What's the on top? We never sleep on these pillow order.
Yes,
yeah.
I know.
the fancy decorative pillows.
When I used to date, I always used to, one of my like back pocket questions, if like things were like slowing down, I'd be like, how many pillows you got on your bed? That was one of my go-tos.
Right.
And they were always caught so off guard by it, and then they would be like, well, actually, and then they would
think about it.
It ended up turning into a good conversation, which, P.S., it gets you into talking about the bedroom.
Sure, that's where you want to be. Yeah,
well, you know
yeah.
what? It gets as heated as the how many people have you slept with thing.
Yeah,
'Cause you have to
yeah.
think about
Alex, you
both.
should try it. On your next date, ask them how many pillows they got on their bed. They love it. It's like, if they're over 12, run.
Do you remember what the highest number of pillows you found out was?
Like an 8 or a 9.
Oof, God.
My parents at their the house we stay at the beach, it has like literally pillows almost to the end of the foot of the bed, like stacked, like boom, 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 boom,
I
boom,
know.
boom, so many pillows,
insane.
and just in decreasing sizes, like Russian nesting dolls of pillows. It's very strange.
I'm like, nobody's going to see the bed.
No, yeah, it's very.
Anyway,
weird.
we should introduce our guest.
Yeah, let's take a quick break and then we'll introduce our guest.
Yes.
For you, the listeners of Sorry I've Been So Busy, Zipcar is offering $25 of free driving credit at zipcar.com. This is something we've talked about before. Parking in New York City, big hassle. I'm sure it's the same in other places. Who wants to deal with a rental car place? So Zipcar, you just get a membership. Get out of here anytime you want. It's great. To earn $25 of free driving credit, go to joinzipcar.com/SIBSB. Again, that's joinzipcar.com/SIBSB to earn free driving credit. And we're back with our guests, who we're very excited to have here. Like we said before, a member of the Showbiz Studios family, the host of the Defend Your Movie podcast.
Oh, I can't wait.
A very funny comedian, a guy I've known for a long time. Sean Donnelly is here, everybody.
Hello, fellas.
I can't believe he is the first person.
You're
but,
a domestic failure.
Yeah.
I'm domestic
No, I'm
failure,
kidding.
Sean Donnelly.
How long have you
Welcome,
been
sir.
married?
I've been married for almost 6 years.
Yeah.
August 5th will be 6 years.
I remember. That's congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I remember you guys, and then you were dating for a while before that, right?
Not less time than I realized. Whenever I think back to it, I think we were dating like probably 2.5 years before.
That's
I guess it's a good amount of
That's
time
a good
when I
chunk.
think about it. Yeah.
Including the engagement.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Because she was around back in the day.
Doing
when,
spots,
yeah.
the same spots and everything.
Yeah.
No, she would be around, and that was when she actually came, and then now she's
Now she
had
doesn't
her
have
fill
to,
of it,
yeah.
and she
Yeah,
didn't
I
have
know,
to.
right? Yeah,
exactly.
my wife does not. Well, actually, now it's so infrequent that we've actually cycled back into like when I do have a good show, it's so infrequent that my wife actually does want to come if
Right.
she can. So
Right, exactly. How long you been married for?
7.5.
Okay, yeah,
But,
that's right.
We're newlyweds.
Yes, he's been married
I'm
less
just
than a year.
October.
Oh, October. Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
That's very nice.
But speaking of my wife, I remember an early time when the very first Valentine's Day that my wife and I were dating, I got asked to do the Valentine's Day rejection show.
Shout out to John Friedman.
And so I was like, hey, we had just been dating like 6 months, and I was like, hey, I got asked to do this Valentine's Day rejection show. Is it okay? We go on. She's like, yeah, it'll be fun. Let's go to the show, and then we'll go to dinner. And it was like a great show. And then we got dinner afterwards. And then so the next year we had been dating a year and a half, and you ran a show in Ochi's Lounge,
Yes.
in the basement, and
Yep.
it was on Valentine's Day. And so without asking her, I was like, hey, I booked another show for Valentine's Day. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do a show in Ochi's Lounge, and then we'll go get at dinner. And she's like, okay. And then we did, and it was actually a fine show. It was a good show.
a good show.
For Ochi's Lounge.
Poorly
Yeah.
run, but
No, it was...
Yeah, the guy ran it. It was awful person.
yeah, real-
No, that was a good. We used to do well.
Oh, geez,
like,
I
And
remember
actually,
Ochi's
I will
Lounge.
say
Yeah.
the fact that you got any crowd on Valentine's Day was impressive. It was like...
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was also Saturday night, probably.
I don't remember. It might have been.
We had the
Yeah,
show
yeah.
on Saturdays.
Oh, then it must
That's
have
why
been.
it
try it
helped us.
again the year 3.
No, after that we decided, although we did go after the Ochi's Lounge show to there was a Mexican restaurant called Mary Ann's in Chelsea that we had gone to the year before after the UCB show. But I always remember that I did your show on Valentine's Day because it was...
And that was the beginning of the point where she was
But
like, all right, screw this.
well, I think also because you must have been dating your current wife at the time because she must have been there. This would have been 2008, I want to say, or 2000.
that means, and then Valentine's Day, we were probably
Or maybe
just
2009.
dating. We were probably dating
Yeah.
we really started dating 2008, like around my birthday. So that
Yeah.
was May. So
Yeah.
yeah, we were probably dating like 6 months or something.
Yeah. So it was probably your first Valentine's Day. But you were like, hey, I'm a comedian.
Yeah, I think I was in that mode at that point, and I'm like, I'm not going to not do this show.
You were a guy, you were always, like, when I remember, you were doing a ton of spots. Like, you were grinding, I feel like. You were like...
You were on Grindr.
Like, yeah.
I was on Grindr.
You were on Grindr, but I always remember just seeing you around, like, a ton. Like, you were, like, yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, no, I think I had it. I was doing tons of mics and stuff. Probably back when we knew each other, I was doing tons of open mics and then whatever spots I could get. And then I started that Ochi show, which is this place Comics, which is closed now.
Yeah. It was too good.
It was too... I think if it was around now, it'd be doing well. I just think that they were, like, a little bit too early on it. And it was good. They had these great acts that would go there. They had a big room upstairs, and then they had Ochi's Lounge downstairs. And I would do mics. Then I had a mic there at Ochi's. We would do it on Mondays, and it was great. And then I would do whatever mics in the city, and then whatever spots I got. And I started that show, so I'd have an extra spot. I could have more spots. But I think when I dived in. Yeah. Because I was like really nervous to do it for stand up for a long time. I think you knew like Pat and do you know Pat and Blaine and those guys?
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
Those are the guys that like got me into it pretty much. And then I waited so long to do it. And then when I started doing it, I just kept going.
Yeah. I never fully like at the most I was doing like 2-3 spots a week. I never fully dove into like the open mic thing and blah blah blah.
See, I never realized that. I always thought you, and I always knew. I'm like, I remember thinking about you as like such a great joke writer when you were there. Like, I think it was like I remember being like, oh my god, wish I could write jokes like this guy.
Yeah, and if only I could perform them. But no, it's funny because Sean O'Connor has told me before, like his first ever night in New York City, he saw me on 2 shows. He said he went to Rafifi and to UCB, and I was on both shows, and he thought I was the biggest, like, busiest comedian in New York.
That's what happened. We've had a few people on the podcast who were like, oh, yeah, I thought you were
and
a big
I told
deal.
him, I was like, that was probably the only night I was ever booked on 2 shows. I was like, you caught me on literally my busiest night ever. I
remember early on, I was like, I don't know, man, 3 months into doing it, and this guy, Charlie Kazoff, who still does comedy, I remember... one of the most impressive things ever to me was he had an open mic at this random place in Chinatown called 82 Lounge, and you performed like in the window with your back to the street. Like, it was like not good. And but I remember him telling us there, being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go do some spots at Zany's in Chicago." And I remember being like, "Oh my god, are you kidding me?" Like, I thought that was the biggest. I was like, "Oh, you made it! You made it! You are a superstar to me."
No, your perception of what is,
right.
And that's what happens. It goes as you go along. You realize, oh, this is not it. That's it. This is not it. That's it.
What was your day gig to comedy? Not ratio, but because you said you started late, so
I started when I was 28, which most people start like when they're 21, 23.
So
24.
what were you doing pre-comedy?
I did a bunch of random stuff, man. Like, I think I kind of was pretty lazy. Where like I was a doorman for like 2 or 3 years
at like a New York building.
Yeah, like 89th Street.
Questions.
89th Street in Madison. I was a doorman.
Did you wear a uniform?
Yeah. Wow. Wore a uniform. Got fired from that job.
Well, geez.
I do a joke about it. I got fired for leaving the door open. That's exactly what happened.
And that's like the Seinfeld episode.
Right, exactly. And it wasn't even me who did it. Like, I came back from my dinner break and it was open, but we used to just prop the door open and leave it open because it was nice out.
I have a bunch of questions quickly. What kind of background check do you go through to be a doorman?
Oh, you give them your social and all that. I think they do a full
okay,
and you don't join the union per se. You get the job and then you join the union.
There's a union. See, I didn't even know that.
It's called 32BJ, and that people make blowjob jokes.
Did you? I'm above that. Did you?
I figured that.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Did you work like late? I'm going somewhere with this.
I had
So how knowledgeable were you of people's lives in the building?
Knowledgeable, very knowledgeable.
I'm fascinated by this because I feel like doormen know, especially again in my single days, like they know like a girl like that guy. I've never seen him before.
Well, there was a Master and None episode about this. Did you see it?
I didn't, but I want to watch it. I heard. I heard there was.
So you were like the late shift sort of, or you?
I had the word. What happened was I was a filling guy first. So I was doing porter stuff. Like when you first start, I was like filling in. So whoever was on vacation for the summer, you would take their shift. And then when I got a regular shift, everybody gets bumped up a peg in timing wise. So the most seniority guy, he gets to pick what he wants, and then from so on and so forth. Yeah. So I got the swing shift, which is like I would have gotten graveyard shift, which is overnights, which is 11 at night to 7 in the morning. But the guy wanted to keep it. This guy worked out good for him and his wife.
Right.
So I got swing shift, which is actually probably worse, which was 3 afternoons, 3 to 11, and 2 nights, 2 overnights.
Oof.
And I had like the worst. I was like a zombie for like
Wow.
like a year because
Yeah.
I was like. And also I was younger, so I could deal with it, but like, it was bad. And there was times where I would go out. I had a friend of mine. I'd work 3 to 11, and then I'd go out with a friend of mine till like 5 in the morning, and then sometimes I had to be back at 7 to like
Oh my
cover
goodness.
for somebody.
And then the demographic in the particular building, old people or like young?
When I was there, it was a lot of old people. What it was, it's 45 East 89th. It's on 89th and Madison. It's like the biggest building in that neighborhood. To the point where I think they purposely stopped making them because the residents, like the rich people in that neighborhood, were like, we don't want anything else. This is a eyesore. We don't
Sure.
want, And maybe now that's different. When I was there, apparently from what I've heard, the building was built in like the late 70s or something. It was a rental building at first. It was very like middle class up there, and it was that building was middle class. Then it went to co-op, and then there was a lot of people who you were given the option you could buy your apartment for super cheap. So when I started working there was a lot of older people there. That some of them that bought their apartments, and some of them were just living up there. And then as I was working there, I saw younger, like really rich people coming into the building.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just fascinated with the whole idea of like doormen know all of your business.
They know most of your business. You can keep it, but you'd hear stuff. People, because not only would you just pick up stuff from having a brain and watching people interact and like realizing, hey, this is like, there was one guy that would just get straight up like high class hookers sent to the thing. And you're like, yeah, this is every night a different girl. And you realize, you kind of get the vibe, you know what's going on.
Oh, hey, champagne.
But not just that, but you also, if you were, some of the residents were really cool, and they would just talk to you and tell you everybody's dirty laundry was going on. Yeah, and then you could talk to the kids. The kids would kind of hang out in the lobby, whatever it was, and you'd find out what was going on with them. So you knew a lot of information that people probably didn't realize you knew.
What's the entertainment? This was pre-phones, I'm guessing.
Flip phones.
Yeah.
So not a lot of internet. Because
internet.
Matt's recurring bit is, janitors have it made now because
It's on their phone all day?
No,
you can listen to podcasts all day.
and so it's
I guess as a
Yeah.
doorman you can't do that, but
No, but you know what we used to do? We used to, when I worked overnights, somehow these guys that worked there, they ran the cable line from somebody's cable in the building through the basement, like through whatever the cable box was, through the basement, up through the floor, and beneath our desk we had a little mini TV, and I would watch TV all night.
No, doormen are always either during the day, they're always reading the Post or the Daily News. I feel like you got, did you have the Post or the Daily News?
Yeah, both. Yeah.
And then at night, you're always watching a baseball game, like or a Knicks game or something, like on a black and white, like
a little
6-inch
tiny TV.
That's like
my overnight guy now plays video games on his phone.
I'm sure he does.
And I walk the dog, so even if it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, he's
It is amazing. It's one of those jobs where you could, like, if you wanted to, like, you could write your novel or something, or like your screenplay. Like, while
you
like, if
could, but
you
here's
were
the thing,
on a
like,
slow, I guess you're being interrupted a lot. So
you literally, you're. Oh shoot! Sorry, guys.
no, it's okay.
I thought I turned this off.
No problem.
It's Dan St. Germain. He's an idiot.
Oh boy,
what a
big name drop.
Big name drop.
Yeah.
Big time Hollywood.
huge name drop, DSG.
No, so what it is to be honest, like your building you live in, is it like a small building?
It's like 7 floors.
7 floors. It might be a non-union building. He might be cool with management because honestly, we had cameras on us the whole time.
Oh, got it.
So if you're
could
sitting
off.
there on your laptop writing a screenplay, chances are they're going to be like, "Hey, we saw you pull out your computer and
and yet
start writing."
you're allowed to watch.
In Act 2, I don't believe the motivation.
And yet
behind-
you're allowed to watch TV.
No, you're not.
Oh, that was hidden?
It was under the desk. Oh, wow. So literally what you'd have to do is you have to lean. There was like a back cabinet that they put like packages and stuff in that you would give people.
Yeah.
So you would lean back on that. You'd have the remote like kind of hidden under, and you would like pretend like you're watching the door while you're looking at the TV going back, and like you would just hang back relaxed so they wouldn't know that you're looking down directly at the TV.
One more question before we derail this entire podcast just
Just
about
talk about doorman?
doorman. What's the bane of the doorman's existence that only doormen would know, like residents would have no idea this is something that annoys the doorman?
For me, it was taxi cabs. For me, it took me a long time to get over my hatred for yellow taxi cab drivers.
In terms of you have to go out and get one for
you get one for people, and then
resident.
that I don't mind. That's part of the job. It's not that. What they would do is this: the taxi drivers, they come by as they're going. You're trying to get a taxi. There's none that are on duty, right? But without fail, like clockwork, what would happen is an off-duty one would pull up, go, where are you going? And you'd be going to the airport. A lot of time it was like airport.
Sure.
You'd have 4 bags. They'd go, where are you going? You go, JFK, and they would go, no. But as they're doing that, 2 ones that were on duty are passing by you.
Yeah.
And you lose your mind. And that would happen 3 times in a row, and you just want to strangle these dudes. Yeah.
It reminds me of being a page and taking a tour and the kind of sort of
Yeah.
things that we had to navigate, but worse.
Yeah, and also dealing with some of the people. It's like, you know, if you live in a doorman building, just don't be a jerk, don't be a dick, don't be like it's insane. Like some people move into a doorman building so they can boss around doormen.
Oh yeah, that's awful.
Yeah.
How are the Christmas?
tips
Everybody
and
who lives in New York knows about you got to stuff in the.
That's why people
cash.
do that job.
Yeah.
Because the money you make, when I was there, this is a while ago, it was probably 2002 or something.
Right.
The money I was at 14 an hour because I was like not full time yet. Then when you're at your full, at that point, it was $18 an hour, and you'd make daily tips, so you could make like $20-30 a day, which is pretty decent. And then also, but at Christmas, if you were there for a while, like
Just multiplied by resident.
yeah, if you were there for a while, and then at Christmas time or holidays, whatever you want to call it, you literally these guys were making like $20,000 in cash. Christmas. Yeah.
Not to mention,
You don't have to
Claim it.
Claim it.
Yeah.
all the probably you get a lot of like baskets, like people uneaten.
I don't want
cookies,
this.
like uneaten, like people.
You would get. I don't know if you get baskets.
People make cookies and stuff for you.
People would make stuff. People would like. I worked on Thanksgiving once or twice, or I think once.
Yeah.
And people will bring down like food and stuff from Thanksgiving, which
Yeah.
was nice.
Yeah.
Baskets. I think they were like. I think in that building, most people, maybe a couple.
Yeah.
Most people knew cash is king.
Cash is what you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was like that's the other thing. Like if you want your doorman to like you, just tip them. That's all you got to do. Just not be annoying and tip them.
I remember dating a girl, and she told me that her roommate was hooking up with her doorman.
Wow.
And it started because the doorman after a shift would go up and smoke with her. And I was like, who smokes with their doorman?
Yeah.
And who fucks their doorman?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But we have like a couple young and like the sort of some of the younger girls in the building like hang out.
With the doorman.
Yeah, at the desk.
That makes sense.
And we have
They're people too.
We have an old. I know. It's just
You elitist. You're one percenter.
I don't mean it that way. It was just interesting. Like who
with the commoners.
who fucks the doorman?
Yeah.
We have a couple that.
I mean, you see them all the time.
Corral
No,
with
but
the peasants.
The last thing I'll say is we have he's the sweetest guy, old gentleman. He wears a 3-piece suit every day. He's been in the building for for many years.
Yeah,
and
they keep that job since it really do nothing.
He
job.
sits in the.
he's not a
he's not a doorman. He's a
Oh,
resident.
I live resident. I'm sorry.
He's very I guess he's very lonely. He sits in the common area all day into the evening, and he'll hang out at the doorman desk.
I'm sure he will.
Like we have
people like that.
You have like no privacy as the doorman.
No, there's zero privacy. Well,
Especially
yeah.
with this guy, and he's the sweetest old man. But we always be like, at some point, the doorman's got to be like, go home.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't
You
do
literally can't. You will
Wow.
get. You will get in trouble if he was to say to him, unless it got really bad where they couldn't do the job, and then somebody else complained, and then it was like a
Yeah.
whole big thing. It's all politics.
Oh,
we
man.
there's a guy I used to work with. The porters would work there. This guy, every payday, these guys would go down and play gin rummy for money, and this guy would clean up and beat all these guys and
like
for their
dice
paychecks.
in the basement,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
boiler,
They
in
would-
the.
and he would just kick their asses each week.
If you
I'm
live
like,
in
how
New do you guys
York, survive.
People who don't live in New York listening to this are like, man, they're really diving deep into this doorman culture. But like, if you live in New York, this is everybody wants to know this stuff.
We had Derek Gaines on, and we spent 20 minutes talking about him being a janitor in toll booths because
he was in New
it was
Jersey
the
Turnpike toll booth.
The mechanics of how that worked.
Yeah.
was
Wait,
just so
he was a
interesting.
janitor for toll booths?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a toll booth custodian. So he would.
He
Didn't it take 2 seconds? Wouldn't it just go from toll
tiny.
booth to
I
toll
mean,
booth?
he definitely said he milked it. I mean, like
Yeah.
he would make it.
But like, just getting to.
getting there. is
There's
hard.
back roads and
Yeah.
side roads. You should listen to the podcast.
Oh, really? I'll check it out.
It's
Yeah,
really
he was,
funny.
and then
He's
the
really
parking, just like a lot of the mechanics of that.
I always figured they just parked in that little side area that's by that house that's next to the toll booth.
Yeah, but then
Can't
how do you
hang.
get from there to the thing? There was
Yeah.
a whole.
There's a whole fucking
Yeah.
thing.
There's a whole
Wait,
thing.
and then so your podcast is Defend Your Movie, which we
Yes.
have. We've talked about. What a great concept.
Thank you so much. I would love for both of you guys to do
Let's
it.
do it for
Come
sure.
on, I want to bring up. This was probably what I would say I would want to do on the podcast, but Rocky V is something I defend vehemently
actually defend it.
Yeah,
unironically, you defend it.
Rockies 1 through 4 together as one movie is my favorite movie of all time. So I'm already leaning into Rocky.
Well, once you get to 4.
And people hate 5 with such a vengeance, and I think there are many redeemable scenes.
Okay. Well, why don't you do the podcast and we'll figure it out? You know what it is? I saw that once.
That's what comes to mind.
I remember not liking it. I do remember liking Rocky 6, which is Rocky, which is what just Balboa.
Balboa and then Creed.
Because it's actually Balboa and then Creed. I never saw Creed, which I want to see it. I heard it's great.
Good.
But Balboa I liked because I think that absolutely could happen. I don't see that being...
No, those are great. And I'm not saying 5's a great movie, but people discard it.
You know what I think screwed it up for people was that Tommy Gunn guy, and I think him when he got HIV, and then after later on, really, I think he did. Not that I'm saying it has that stigma to it, and then not that they're wrong if they're thinking that, but then also but the weird part about that guy is that he denied he had it.
Yeah,
like first he said they had it, and
it's
he was
a manhood thing,
and then he was like, "It's gone," and they were like, "It's not gone." Like he said
magic.
he was cured, and he was like, "No,
I got the
not.
good kind."
No, Tommy. And then I think he died, and people were like, "Yep, see,
right, yeah." People come on, and so the guest is always in charge of defending the movie, right? So they come on, and they're there to defend a movie that they like that nobody else likes.
Right, exactly. And usually it's like a guilty pleasure. I try not to do comedies because comedy is so subjective. Because people always want to do comedies, and I go, you could just literally come on the show and go, "Well, I thought it was funny."
Yeah,
and then you're
it's
done.
Like, show
and
done.
Are you usually in the position of agreeing with them or being swayed to their position, or are you fighting back?
If it's a thing I genuinely dislike, when it works out the best, I try to play devil's advocate. If I kind of like the movie, I try to kind of put them to the test a little bit. It's not a serious defense. It's a lighthearted defense of the movie. But to be honest, we had a couple episodes in a row where we got criticized for not sticking to the premise of the podcast because we were both just completely making fun of the movie, both people. So I try to now go, hey, the theme through it should be you kind of defending X, Y, and Z about this movie.
What was one where the person you really were pissed off that they liked the movie, like that you?
Oh, one of the ones that I was love to do was Josh Gondelman, who you obviously know. I
love the idea of him pissing anybody off.
He did American Hustle, and I hate American Hustle. And I have I had so many problems with American Hustle. I have so many problems. I think it's such a hyped up piece of garbage movie that when he said he would do it, I was so excited.
Yes.
I could actually get mad about it.
And he really liked it.
He liked it. It wasn't his favorite movie of all time, but it was fine. But he did like it, and he did defend it. He definitely did defend it.
Did he have salient points?
He did. You know what happens a lot of the time is you see the downside of the idea of the podcast is that sometimes you see the same ideas popping up. Yeah. And what I've realized from the podcast is circumstances of how you see a movie can really affect what you think of that movie.
What have you learned about movies and the way people ingest them?
I've learned that if you see a movie when you're a kid, you have blinders on for how bad that movie might be.
For the rest of your life.
The rest of your life. You just are like, even if you're pointed out on how bad it is,
it's a moment in time.
We did Speed. Even people got mad we did Speed. Mark Norman did Speed, and I was like, Speed is a bad movie. And they're like, no, it's not. It's amazing. It's like, no, it's not. Because you put it in the same genre. It's an action movie, just like Die Hard, okay? Die Hard is amazing. The script is amazing.
Across the board.
Great action. The action scenes are amazing. Like, everything's amazing. And Die Hard's from the 80s, but it still holds up pretty much today, whatever it is. Speed is a terrible script. It's got bad acting in it. The plot is out of control. Like, it's just bad. It's fun to watch, but it's still bad. So, like, people, because they're told back in the day, like, because that was a big blockbuster, and they're like, Speed is amazing. Like, people are like, yeah, Speed's amazing. Because I saw it with my friends when I was 15, and we freaked out over it, whatever, No,
so
I remember that's what I've learned.
Yeah, there's two movies I saw in college when I was I was high, and I remember both thinking they were the funniest thing ever. And one was Little Nicky, and I remember thinking it was so funny. And I'm almost scared to go back and watch it. And the other is Freddy Got Fingered, which was like brutally sort of eviscerated at the time, but I think now seen by some as sort of like a cult classic almost.
Absolutely. I've been suggested to people want to do that movie. 10 people have told me they want to do that movie.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I'm not that's a purposely stupid, funny movie, right?
Yeah.
How are you supposed to shit
You're
on
right.
it? You know
You're
what I'm
right
saying?
with that distinction that you shouldn't let people come on and do comedies because it'd be
We
people
did,
have different senses of humor.
we did one comedy so far, which was House Gas with Sinbad and Phil Hartman.
That's a great movie. I always bring that up as a very underrated.
I never saw it before, and it's not bad, but it's funny because it was Jared Freed did it, and he literally got into the thing about he was drawing similarities between the way that like the country is now with like
Jared Freed on
race
Idiots,
relations.
by the way.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
He's on
my show.
Idiots,
Oh, very nice.
The show. So there's this TV show on now on Netflix called Friends from College, and
I haven't seen it. It looks good to me.
universally like hated. Like the reviews are horrible.
Oh.
It's getting like F. I'm the only one who likes it.
You like
I'm in
it?
my office defending it. I think it's so funny and so great, and I found myself being like defending this TV show. It's again,
we're going to
it's tough
start a
with
podcast called Defend Your
It's
TV
tough with
Show.
the spinoff, right? It's tough with comedy because, like you said, but this one doesn't seem to be subjective. It seems to be objectively hated. It's so I like it.
I never
think
saw
funny.
it.
Yeah, it's
but
on
I
Netflix now.
the ads for it. I was like, I saw an ad that I laughed out loud at.
Yeah. It's got a great cast, and I think that's why people are like, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, my big comedy that I would defend, that I don't because I just think it's funny, that a lot of people don't like, is Clifford with Martin Short.
Oh, really?
I love that movie.
Throwback.
I love it. Because and there's also such weird things surrounding that movie, because that was, Orion Pictures made that movie in like 91, and then they went out of business. Yeah. But then somebody, whoever bought their stock of movies, put it back out like 2 years later, so it like didn't get a wide release, I think, or whatever it was. But I love that movie, but a lot of people watch it and they don't like it because like Martin Short plays a 10-year-old boy, like it's just creepy to them, whatever it is. But I think
that's
the funniest thing
is
out
like
there.
there could be a thing where it's like if you're not on board, if it's like a real premise and you're not on board with it from like minute one, like you're gonna be like, oh man,
yeah, you're just gonna be uncomfortable the entire
yeah.
time. Yeah.
Has anybody done Devil's Advocate? That's a movie I love that people don't like it.
I don't think somebody's done it yet, but I would do it. I think it's I would do it. I like watching that movie, but I think it's a bad movie.
And then the other one that I always think about when I think about your podcast is From Dusk Till Dawn as a movie. I couldn't do that one today because I haven't seen it in so long and I forget what my arguments were. But I remember vehemently defending that movie.
I would defend that movie,
teenager.
and circumstances and the movie itself is the reason I would do it. I saw that movie like 5 times in the movie theater. I went on like a really good date to watch. It was a girl I went out with.
But again, that affects it. That informs your memory of it.
And I'll tell you one of the coolest things about From Dusk Till Dawn. Originally, the ad but it got leaked, so it didn't happen. The ad campaign was they were going to market that movie as just a bank heist movie with Tarantino and George Clooney. And then when you got there, midway through the movie, you would realize it was a vampire movie.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
Nobody knows walking in.
Nobody knows walking in.
So cool.
You know what would be more fun is I want to come on and
you could do that in 95.
Talk about a movie that everyone likes that I think is terrible. Or just trash a movie that I
you could do that too.
Yeah.
No, they haven't done that, but I would. I guess it goes against the whole thing, but like,
I know, right?
But I do like that idea,
right?
Like, what would you do?
Like Dead Poets Society, which is just like a shitty movie. I don't know. It's just a shit.
People do love that movie.
And then people quote and they think it's like their
people
favorite.
live their lives for that movie.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, you know what's a big one now that it's funny how things change. Like people like rail against American Beauty now. Like now, that won the Oscar, and people now are like, it doesn't hold up.
It was
it's
entertaining.
I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
I think it was the beginning of those like soul searching movies.
But the other thing is like people. So like Kevin Spacey, like his like. People in he's a good actor. In retrospect, he's seen as like because of like House of Cards and like who he like as like a scenery chewing sort of like over the top kind of but he's
a good actor though. Yeah, he's entertaining.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Another thing that pops up that I'll mention that I bring up a lot in the podcast, which I'm always fascinated by, is the people making some of these movies. Are they in on the ironic, the irony of what they're doing? Like, and the big example is Fast and the Furious. And somebody did Tokyo Drift to defend that, and I was like, it is the worst one out of all of them because it's not in that universe. And I had a whole bunch of theories for what I think that the guy from Tokyo Drift, that kid Lucas Black, I'm like, oh, he was gonna play a bigger part in the movies, and then they probably watched him and they're like, forget this.
Yeah,
but my whole argument is like, I wondered. I think the Fast, like people for Con Air with Nicolas Cage. I think they were in on it, and they knew that how cheesy it was.
They knew they were making a Sharknado.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Fast and the Furious, those guys, you can't make that and be in on it. I think if you have the guys writing those movies are really like, it is about family, bro. It is about loyalty.
Yeah,
it is about us.
bro
it's
movie.
about our crew.
And also the cast takes it so seriously. Like The Rock and Vin Diesel have like beef over like who's taking their character more. You know, who's
And they
taking
won't be
it
in the
seriously.
same. They're not in the same scenes together anymore.
Insane.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Here's the thing, man. You actively, you know it's bad. Like, you know it's bad in a way, but while you're watching it, you're still impressed. Like the action scenes they do in these movies are so over the top, bat crazy that you're watching it and you're like, I know this movie's supposed to technically bad, but it's really not, because to do all this,
enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. And it's really impressive. Yeah.
Let's talk about Sean.
Let's get into your day.
What do you think? What's a typical day for you like? I mean, if you want to pick a day from this week, or just give us a typical day in your life.
Typical day.
What keeps you busy, Sean?
Nothing. My dog keeps me busy.
that's a good
I have an English bulldog named
fun.
Rickles to keep it the whole comedy
There we go.
theme. And what'll usually happen is that
My
I
dog's
usually
name is Dusty, named after Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream.
Oh, look at you!
So-
and you're a wrestler, so that makes sense.
I'm a wrestling fan, yeah. But we both have dogs named after our sort of,
Or
What is his name? Yeah. Okay.
the heroes.
Heroes.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Dusty Rhodes is your hero.
one of,
One of your heroes.
The American Dream.
The American. You love him.
Love him. Continue. So
No,
your
so-
dog keeps you
My
busy.
dog is named Hitler. Is that weird?
weird.
A little odd.
Strange.
A little odd
Okay,
choice.
yeah, dog.
After Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Jeff Hitler.
Jeff Hitler.
Yeah.
A buddy from college.
yeah.
And he has two gerbils named Goebbels.
How did you do that so fast? Well done.
That was great.
Okay, so your dog wakes you up, I'm guessing.
No, what happens is I'll usually have spots the night before.
Yeah.
What usually happens is my wife will leave. My wife wakes me up as she's getting ready. I think she has no regard for me sleeping, and she will dry her hair in our room. She will bang, she bangs, we have to bang tablets into my dog's food. So literally sometimes at 8 in the morning, I'm woken up by one of those mallets that you have in the kitchen banging against the floor.
Right, like an apothecary.
Yeah, right. Like an old time.
sure.
Right, exactly. So that usually wakes me up. I get up. I don't get up out of bed. I wake up. She's like, all right, goodbye. I'm leaving, whatever it is. She goes to work. And then I sleep. Sometimes I get up maybe a few minutes later. Sometimes I sleep for another, I don't know, hour, 2 hours maybe. And I get up at like 10-ish. And then I get up and I have to, my dog usually is good. I'm trying to think. It's so funny. It's hard to figure out what you do. And then I will immediately what you do when you get up.
Defend your day.
Yeah. I think everybody, what they do is they check their phone. I check my phone immediately. And then you just think you're going to check your phone and then you're on your phone for way too long. So I probably am on my phone for like 15, 20 minutes. And then if I catch a video, like a John Oliver video or whatever, I'll watch that whole thing.
That'll be like 30 minutes.
It's like 30 minutes or whatever it is, 20 minutes or whatever he does.
And then it's time to go do spots.
And then it's yeah, exactly.
Your whole day got
the
away
whole
from
day
you.
gone. So then I get up and I am. I usually will grab something to eat.
From the house.
From the house, or
out.
I'll go down to around the corner to the diner around the corner from my house, and I'll grab something to eat. I go back. I have a routine where I watch Law and Order: Criminal Intent.
Wow.
Every day, as long as I'm up for it. Yeah, every day I watch 11 o'clock on WPXN. They have Law and Order: Criminal Intent. It's my favorite Law and Order. I've seen every episode multiple times, but for some reason I still will watch them.
Yeah.
With the commercials?
Yes.
Wow.
Who's
Yeah,
in
you really can't
criminal?
watch it.
Who's in Criminal Intent?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Okay, so
And Catherine Urbay, who's the daughter from What About Bob? Remember
she's
What
in
About Bob?
Urbay.
Yeah.
She's Urbay.
Urbay.
Oh
She's
man,
in
this is
Urbay.
the wordplay
Did
is
you
just overflowing.
Are you
in
on
this
the
room.
phone while you're watching Law and Order: Criminal Intent? Or
Yeah,
you
of
just fully
course. Yeah,
focus?
on my phone. I have a fidget spinner that I play with. I will eat my roll and my iced tea or my water or whatever I'm
So
drinking.
you're into the fidget spinner thing.
I bought one out of curiosity, and then it's a good thing to keep by the TV, and you play with it when you're
Yeah.
watching TV or whatever it is. You know?
Okay.
Yeah, and then what'll happen is I'll watch that. I might watch. Then I'll go to MSNBC and I'll watch that for a bit, which I.
Talk about Criminal Intent.
Ooh.
MSNBC. That's all they talk about.
Oh,
is
yeah, the
I
Russian
know
criminal
the Russian
intent.
stuff. Yeah, it's like so sensational. And then what I usually do is I'll be like, okay, I'm like, I have a pledge where I'm like, I'll write an hour of stand-up a day. So I literally, right now, I have two script ideas that I'm working on, and I have, I'll write, what you call it? Like I'll try to write stand for a day, but then I end up writing for 15 minutes, then going online. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that's what happens. And then the way it's been going lately is usually on like any given day I'll have like either a voiceover audition or I'll have like an acting audition.
Yeah.
So like I'll have to like get ready to go there, and I'll take the dog out. I walk the dog right by my house, and I say hello to the guy who runs the barbershop, the Russian guy that runs the barbershop right next to my building, and then I go.
Do you
walk
disclose
the dog.
everybody that's in that meeting?
I do. Yeah, it's me and the barber and my dog.
Just making sure, because
I do.
in 2017, you really got to let everybody know.
And a translator. It's me, my dog, and the barber, and a translator.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a state lawyer.
And a state lawyer. Yeah. And
there was a second meeting later. It's just you and your dog. So you didn't tell anybody about.
We were at a dinner. I was feeding him dinner.
Hold on.
And we were talking.
Who does the morning walk?
My wife. Yeah. So she'll walk him at like right before she leaves.
And so you do the midday walk.
I'll do the midday walk.
Got it.
And then I might have and then if I have an audition that day, what normally happens, my days kind of vary. That's why it's like I'm trying to do like give you a routine, but the routine is just in the morning. I'm like the criminal intent thing. I'll get up, I'll write, and I'll whatever it is. I have like.
Wait, have you ever auditioned to be a dead body or?
No, but I was asked to be a cop with like a one-line cop thing once, and I was so sick I couldn't do it for SVU, and it was one of the worst moments of my life because I love SVU.
It's probably better you didn't get it. You'd be fanboying on set.
I'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
If I was with those, oh my God. I met SVU, Chris Maloney, he came to the cellar one night, and I was like a giddy 14-year-old girl. I freaked out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, can I get a picture? And he was like, yeah, man. And then I was downstairs in the showroom.
I liked him on Oz.
He was great on Oz. He's great in everything. He's good.
Wet Hot
American Summer. He's awesome.
Amazing.
And I took a picture with him at the cellar, and I realized, I'm like, oh my God, we're doing it down in the showroom, and the light sucks down here, so the picture was like not the greatest. And I'm like, there's no way I can ask him again when he comes out. I can't.
My cousin was a rapist on one of the Law and Orders.
Which one? Which Law and Order? SVU? You mean, or it had to be SVU?
I'd have to look it up, but he was a rapist.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Also a blue man. He was a blue man in New York.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Wow. That thing's been around for like 25 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you walk the dog in the afternoon.
Walk the dog like midday, like 12 or 1. And then depending if I have auditions, I go into the city and I'll go do the audition, and then I will, whatever I try to do, I'll stay in the city until I have spots at night.
Yeah.
Chances are at night I'll have to host the cellar or do a spot at the cellar, so
you don't see your wife if it's that kind of day. You don't see your wife.
I don't see my wife at all.
Wow.
I see my wife for 5 minutes in the morning, and then I see her for when I get back from spots. And then chances are she's in bed because she wakes up early and she's like beat, whatever. So it's kind of a weird scenario. So most of the day is like comedy related stuff. So it's like, so when I'm in the city, I'll go random stuff in the city. I'll do is like I'll go to a Starbucks and write, or my buddy works at a wine store, and I go to visit my buddy at the wine store, or I go say what's up to my wife if I feel like if I have time, I'm in that area, that kind of thing. So that's like, I have like weird random days. It doesn't
Where's your, if you're killing time in the city, where's your bathroom?
Oh, was the bathroom in the city?
Where's your good,
I probably have a bathroom for every area. So if I'm over by like 14th and 7th, the Dirty Bird has a really good bathroom.
The chicken place.
Yeah. It's great chicken.
Yeah, they just expanded. They're like double the size.
Yeah, they're great. It's awesome. They have the best. They have smashed potatoes that are unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay, so they have a good bathroom.
They have a good bathroom.
Do you have to eat there to use the bathroom, or do you?
I go in and I go, hey, can you use your bathroom for a sec? And the guy's usually like, yeah, it's fine.
You've eaten there enough that you have a...
I think I've eaten there enough that they recognize me. Yeah, I've eaten there a good amount of times. You know who's not nice is Flannery's Bar, which is right across the street. I went in there once, and there was nobody behind the bar, so I just went downstairs, and I used the bathroom really quickly, and I went back up, and I'm walking out, the guy's like, thanks for asking, and like yelling at me as
it's so not a big deal.
There was nobody to ask.
And there was nobody to ask. And I walked out, as I'm walking out, I'm like, There was nobody there. And he was like, "Ugh," and he just, whatever. It was kind of weird.
Give me one more neighborhood and your bathroom.
Well, give me a neighborhood, and I can probably I could pull a George Costanza maybe, and
Sure.
and give me a neighborhood. I'll probably in Manhattan, like main Manhattan,
East
Times
Village.
Square.
Times Square.
East Village, just come up and use the bathroom at Showbiz.
Yeah, just knock on Alex's door. Okay, yeah, Times
They got
Square,
the warm
because that's
seat.
where I usually am, sadly.
Times Square.
Ish.
Like Times Square. I usually will go to. I would use like
Well, there's hotels.
There's that's what I was going to say. There's like this place called I think it's called the Roger Hotel, which is on. Well, that's not Times Square. That's on the east side. That's 42nd
But
on the
there's,
east side.
yeah.
There's
the Marriott Marquis. You can just go in.
Yeah, whatever that place is by it's by 7th Avenue.
Yeah.
There's a hotel. Oh, Hilton Garden Inn will do it.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Hilton
yeah.
Garden Inn. I've gone there like multiple times.
I often work in that general area, and walking home, I think I've said this on the podcast, the Ace Hotel is the best emergency bathroom if you're anywhere near. It's in the sort of Garment District, Flatiron.
Yeah.
You go downstairs, private,
Oh, really?
door to the ground.
Oh my God, that's
Best.
great.
And it's so hustle and bustle in there because the lobby is like a scene.
Yeah, so
you can
you-
walk in,
All right.
nobody stops you. You go right downstairs. You have your own space. Very similar to that Gotham West Market, all the way on 11th.
Really?
Amazing bathroom.
My wife and I have such a disagreement about this, where she's very much about like politely going in and like politely asking, like, I'm so sorry, can I use your bathroom?
I
For
don't
me,
know.
it's just like straight ahead, walk
Yeah.
with a purpose, look like you know where you're going,
Yeah.
and just get
Nobody-
just, and
nobody will stop.
If you don't find it, you walk out.
Well, I think that depends on the place because if you walk in, I get mad with the restroom for customers only signs.
Yeah.
But I think what happens is depending on the area, they get a lot of crazy people that come in and ask to use the bathroom.
No,
They
yeah. Right.
camp out in there for like
As
2
long
hours.
exactly, as long as you're not walking in with 7 bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a guy, I went to Il Molino one day, and the guy got so mad at me. It's like an Italian restaurant in
Yeah,
West
yeah,
Village.
and it's like-
and I was walking there, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad, I couldn't even wait till the cellar. And then I was like, I was with Mark Norman, we're walking, and he was like, we're almost there. I'm like, I have to go into this bathroom. And I went, and I go, can I use your bathroom just for 2 seconds? And the guy was like, yeah, whatever. And I walked, they looked at me with such disgust
Yeah.
and such they looked down at me. So I was like sweaty and gross and whatever. Yeah. But they, like restaurants, normally, depending on like how busy it is, like a non-busy restaurant is your worst enemy in the bathroom fight.
Yeah.
Because you walk in and they're like, can I help you?
Yeah,
Like, right
they'll-
away.
they'll notice
Can I
you.
help you? And you're like, I do what your wife does, I do. I go, would you mind? I become like a
Yeah.
pauper. I go, would you mind if I used your bathroom for like just
Pretty
a second?
please.
Yeah.
Just really quick. I'm a quick peer. I'll get out of here, whatever it is.
What's your if you? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, I have a great one that I've done a bunch of times. Have
Yeah.
you guys ever done this? Hey, I'm waiting for my friend. They're coming to meet me, but do you mind if I use the bathroom?
No, I don't get into
And
backstory.
then I use the bathroom, and I go, I'm going to wait for them outside. And then I go wait outside, and then I just take
That's like 3 story points.
I've done that.
There's like
I've
3
done
plot
that
points
many
to your-
times. Many times.
You have an arc. That's a whole show right there.
So
Yeah, and then it all comes back. There's foreshadowing.
I know, right? Then you can never go back to that place.
Yeah. What? So then your spots start around what, like 6, 7?
7:30 if I'm hosting the cellar, and then usually
Are you eating before that? Or are you?
Yeah, I'll go and I'll eat. I'll probably go to Dirty Bird and I'll eat.
Right.
I'll eat at
Like a slice? Are you a slice guy? Or are you a?
I was a slice guy, but then I was eating too much pizza and it was like making me feel weird. So I haven't had bagels in like months, and I love bagels.
Yeah,
Because
I'm off the
it-
bagel.
it was too,
I'm
like-
off bread as much as I can.
That's what I'm trying to get to. I want to.
I just do bread on the weekends.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's what I should do.
Yeah.
But I'll go eat. I'll usually will find. Sometimes you go eat at the cellar because they hook you up a little bit, and then. Or I'll find a place like so. I was going to JG Mellon's a lot. That was over there.
Well,
It's a
the
really
new
good-
one, down there.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite burgers.
It's a great burger.
I'm in a burger club, so I,
You're in a
one of
burger
them.
club?
Yeah.
What is a burger club?
Monthly, second Tuesday of every month.
You go to a burger place with people?
Yeah.
And
I stalk these dudes on Instagram. They're called the Gotham Burger Social Club, and they're Wall Street dudes. And they invited me out once after I commented on a bunch of their pictures. They commented on mine.
Mm-hmm.
They invited me out. This is like 3 years ago. I was like, I'll go as a lark, like once.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get along with these dudes. It turns out they're the greatest dudes ever.
Really?
And they're like consistent as anything, and we do it, and it's so
This
much
is
fun.
once a month, you said?
Once a month, second Tuesday of every month, we try a different burger.
And
If you look at my Instagram, you'll see.
I'm really interested in this.
And check them
Where
out.
have you found out Where's the best burger, do you think?
Well, we just had our minds blown by something I had never heard of. This place called Suprema Provisions. It's in the West Village. It's like an Italian little like general store, but
I've
it
heard
also
of
is a
that.
restaurant. The burger was like the most creative thing we've ever eaten, and it ended up having the highest score that we've ever scored a burger. I wouldn't say it's the best burger I've ever had, but it scored the highest.
Because
it was
do you
so
base it on
unique.
like what they put on it and stuff? Or
Yeah,
do you-
we rank on at the end. The guy, our leader, he hands out index cards with 4 categories. It's bun, patty, toppings, and bun, patty, toppings, and there's a 4th one, and then you 1 through 10, you cumulative score.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and fries.
Oh, and fries. Okay.
Yep.
Because I've heard of that place, but
I never even heard of it, and we went, and I was just like, holy shit.
I'll tell you, when I talk about circumstances, up until recently, I would still put it up there. I went burger joint, the one at the Park and Meridian.
That's in my top 5.
That is the best burger I've probably I've had.
I love that burger.
I don't know. If
and
it
you
was-
know there's a sit-down burger joint on 8th Street.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I've gone there.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being as good as the one at Park and Meridian, right? Am I
Yeah,
crazy?
I mean, the
about
whole ambiance is gone when you go to the sit-down one.
That's what
the
I'm saying,
whole
yeah.
like wait in line in the hotel lobby. It's kind of secret. It adds to it.
that? It's also crazy because you're in this fancy
That's
hotel.
gluten free. Like unless they serve it on lettuce, I don't know.
Well, Shake Shack introduced the gluten-free bun, and now I finally get the appeal of Shake Shack.
It's so good.
What's a
I mean,
gluten-free bun? It's like a bun. Actually, it's a bun with no gluten in it.
Yeah.
Has a taste? Is it?
I mean, I haven't had a regular bun in 11 years, and so
Yeah.
my comparison is off. But for me, it's like what you want is like the feel of a burger.
Right.
So
That's why it must not be that bad.
Yeah, I mean, like what you want is either like something like a big, juicy, awesome burger that is going to be good on a plate without the bun. So ideally, you want like a big patty with lots of bacon, cheese. and
yeah, you
toppings.
can't do In-N-Out Burger.
Well,
because
In-N-Out has
that
the
would be
lettuce wrap
fucking
burger, which is
disgusting.
good. But
Without
you
the
don't.
bun.
Yeah, you don't. They have the lettuce wrap burger,
don't
which
want
is
the
fine. But you
thin
don't want a
patty.
fast food burger bunless. The fast food burger, you have to have the gluten free bun to make it feel like you're eating a burger.
Yeah, one thing I was always against, I don't know what your feelings on this are, the Corner Bistro burger.
No, I'm out on it.
Never a fan.
Out.
Never a
Well,
fan.
they've gone down on their ingredients. I think.
Oh,
Now,
have
it's
they?
not confirmed, but I think it's a sloppy mess, and the lettuce is always gross.
I also don't like, I'm not a fan of broiled. It's like broiled.
Yeah.
I don't
the
like
thing
broiled
about
burgers.
Corner Bistro is that like before the burger explosion,
yeah.
that was the spot.
Right.
Yeah.
So now it gets lost in the
Yeah.
it's in the dust because there's a million better places now.
Yeah, it's like
But in like
Jackson Hole was a big one for a
But
while. But that was like a
'cause
meatloaf.
That's because it was
I
giant.
missed McHale's on 8th Avenue.
McHale's was awesome. Talk
McHale's
about
are-
a big burger, but that was
Yeah.
a
That was great.
Also, best wings.
oh,
Yeah.
McHale's had
Oh, yeah,
amazing
right,
wings.
McHale's was good.
McHale's had
we-
great wings in this place. Scruffy Duffy's.
Oh,
Scott-
sure.
So I worked at MTV for basically a decade. So we used to drink at Scruffy Duffy's.
And the
that
wings-
Whole,
remember
that
the
whole
wings?
row of bars.
Yeah, Kevin St. James,
Yeah.
Scruffy Duffy's, and then they I heard they shut it down, right? That's what I heard.
and then now it's all high. It's all these
all-
high-rise.
yeah.
We could talk about this for hours.
Oh yeah, this is like my wheelhouse.
Should we do the blow off?
Yeah, let's get to the blow off. How do you blow people off? What's your go-to excuse to get out of doing things?
like if you
And if you have a specific story,
ask me to hang out, like if you go to hang, usually I'm like, yeah, let's do it, and then I just don't do it. My blow off. Usually, what I'll do is I make up like my blow off. Trying to think like my go-to is usually like, hey, I have to go hang out with my wife, or I have to go do family stuff or
Right.
something like that. I usually will come up with an excuse for it, like, I've used the dog multiple times.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I've
Right.
used a dog. I'm like, hey, like if there's something during the day, and then I'm like, I really don't feel like going whatever to this thing during the day that I can actually blow off. I'm like, hey, there's a problem with the dog. I got to take him to the doctor.
dog threw up.
Dog threw up. I go, I don't know what's going on.
I've used that excuse to come do this podcast.
Yeah. Can't come. Don't do it.
hey, employers.
So I'm
yeah.
an excuse guy. So that's usually like, hey, I really got to hang out with the wife tonight. Got to do this.
Right.
Got to,
Yo, ball
depending on
and
who it is.
chain.
Yeah, exactly. So or the
Cracking the whip.
right, exactly. Or the dog. The dog reason works pretty well.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
and then. Or I won't. I will like not respond to text sometimes. Like I'll just like somebody's like, hey, I got this. Blah 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 blah. Like sometimes I just don't write back.
That's
and then,
great.
And then I'll write back
Like 3
after I
days
know
later.
it's too long, and I'll go, I'm sorry, I was
totally forgot.
here.
Yeah.
That's
I think
usually
it's
my
a
thing.
valid excuse if you're like, I read this and forgot about it, and I'm just seeing it now, because that happens.
And I've done that. I've done that
because
multiple
there's no
times.
function to flag a text.
There should be. I don't know why. There
like
isn't.
the same way email, you can flag an email. You
As
should be able to
unread.
flag a text.
Yeah.
I think they used to have that, didn't they? Or no, maybe not text, just
Mark
email.
it unread,
I think
yeah.
they have, like, in the iPhone email app, they had that.
I don't like mark unread because I don't like any notification on my phone. Like it
I don't
drives me
either,
crazy.
but yeah.
I normally it's like situation by situation, but normally it's like an excuse thing, or I just won't respond. I don't know. I just feel like the older I get, I don't know how old you guys are, but the older I get, the more I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
You have less.
You have enough friends.
Yeah, I have enough friends.
Yeah.
I don't give it. Crap.
Dude, this has been so fun.
Yeah,
It's been great.
Did I do the proper?
You did.
Okay,
You
okay,
did.
good.
Yeah. No, this is not gonna. We're not gonna get complaints like about the Defend Your Movie podcast.
I'll see you at a public bathroom.
Yeah.
You can find Sean at a public bathroom near
Find
you.
him in a public bathroom. Definitely check out the Defend Your Movie podcast.
Defend Your Movie podcast on the
Network.
Showbiz
And what
Network.
else? What else you want to plug?
The podcast, and then I have a Twitter. It's at Shawnee and the podcast has a Twitter. It's at Defend Your Movie, and that's about it. I have
How do you spell at Shawnee Time?
SeanyTime.
Got it.
And I have a website, SeanDonnellyComedy.com.
Got it.
You're performing a lot in the city.
And you're at the
In
Cellar?
I'm in the Cellar, and then I do a lot of road stuff. Oh, actually, you know what? When does this come out?
A couple weeks probably.
Couple weeks. Okay. Just check. If you check my Twitter and stuff, you'll see live stuff.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Sean.
Thanks so much for having me,
So
guys.
fun.
I appreciate
Stay
it.
busy, everyone.
Because I'm busy. Whenever I get with her, say I'm busy. And I'm going to hit you later because I'm busy. Busy with her.